What is going on, everyone? Welcome back. I have a little bit of ice in my mouth. Welcome back to the Investing Bros live show. It's 3 p.m. It's time to have a good day again in the markets. Listen, we had a nice pump this morning. If you watched my morning video talking about some news coming out in about 8 days that could be very bullish for several altcoins, I referenced the fact that the pump was probably going to be coming to an end. We were at resistance and we would pull back. Sure enough, that is what has happened today. However, most crypto are still up over the last 24 hours and none as large as some of our AI tokens. What is going on in the AI world? Why did they have such a green day today? We're going to be talking about that and a whole lot more. So you don't want to go anywhere. Stay by your computer, smash that like button, hit subscribe. We've got a great show lined up for you guys. Let's roll that intro. What's going on? T-Shroom. We got a good day going so far. How's your day going so far?
Better than I deserve, Tim. Just
Good.
packing up for another big yard sale. This time it's not at my house. We got to transport a bunch of stuff across town for another yard sale.
I thought we weren't talking about yard sales. I thought the yard sale was top-notch security and a need-to-know basis. So I wasn't leaking any information.
Let's just say there's a lot of decommissioned military equipment being sold at these yard sales, and we have to keep them low.
Listen,
low operational knowledge.
If you're lucky enough, you might even find an Amazon remote that magically turns into a pocket knife if it goes into your couch cushion. So that's what you guys are missing out by missing out on these T-Shroom garage sales. That's good to know you're doing well, T-Shroom. Let's get into the markets here. I have a feeling we might not even have a show go as long today because I think the news, we'll sort through what's happening in the news and stuff. I don't think it's a lot. Big stories, though, here with Bubbles. We do have some coins with big red days. This one actually brand new coin. We're not going to talk much about it. Layer 0. We might talk in maybe a member stream at some point, but for now, I'm not too concerned about Layer 0. It popped up pretty much today into the top 100 and now is the biggest loser. But check out our gainers. And you're going to see a common theme here that we've already spoiled, but we got FET, we got AJIX, we got NEAR, we got Theta up in here. We have a lot of what we call AI tokens. If you're newer to the crypto world, yes, AI is a big part of crypto. It's going to be, I think, one of the biggest gaining momentum of like areas of projects in crypto moving forward. I did see in chat, Matt C said, is ONDO part of the AI narrative or is that more RWA, a real world asset? ONDO update today as well. It's not an AI token, though. That is part of the real world asset game. Again, we're really big on ONDO. We're going to check out the charts on that one today. But story of the day is AI tokens. Also, I forgot to mention WorldCoin. I didn't mention WorldCoin as a big bubble. If you go back to my screen here, it is an AI token. It's not one that I like, right? So I like FET. I like AJIX. They're about to bond here not so far away. Wait, is it FET? Yeah, Fetch, and it's not. Yeah, Fetch, AJIX, and then Ocean. Is Ocean the top 100? I think it's outside the top 100. They're about to bond, become ASI. WorldCoin. Can you make money using WorldCoin or investing in WorldCoin? Probably. But I want you guys to understand when you invest in WorldCoin, you're investing in some really dangerous stuff that really scares the crap out of me about what it does for the future of our civilization. That's a very invasive AI project. I caution you, do some research before you invest, and you might decide, yeah, even if I can make money on it, I don't know if I want to make money at that expense. T-Shroom, you have any thought about that? Are you a WorldCoin fan?
Well, the founder is Sam Altman, right, of WorldCoin, and he's also the founder of another household name, which is OpenAI, now owned by Microsoft. So, there's a lot of pieces to that puzzle, but I generally agree. WorldCoin, no bueno.
No bueno. Now let's get over here into the top 10. This morning, if we had checked out the coin market cap charts this morning, a lot of green in the 24-hour column. That's because Bitcoin went up back over 66,000 if you missed it. However, we're now trading below 65 once again. We'll cover what's happening over on the charts. Technically, it's still up in the green, 0.09% profitable if you invested 24 hours ago. So not a lot. When you move into the other altcoins, though, seeing a lot of red here. Ethereum down 0.8%, BNB down 1.2%, Solana down 2.5%, XRP down 1%, Doge actually in the green, up 0.7%. So is Cardano, still hovering up here at 38 cents. AVAX is in the green still. Yeah, we're kind of going back and forth here for a second. But Toncoin is down here as well. So mostly red with a little bit of green mixed into the top 10. For the most part, we're sitting darn near close to where we were yesterday. And let's get into what happened here. I'm on the 4-hour chart starting off. And you guys can see here, this morning, we had 3 really strong bullish candles rally up. And in the video I did this morning, if you missed it, I do encourage you to go back and give it a watch. It was well worth your time. But I discussed how we were breaking up and doing some really cool things. We're, breaking up, it looks like, again, outside of a channel. I went ahead and changed my channel. If you've been watching days past, I had a thin blue line or green line giving me resistance. Resistance is more of a zone, so I went ahead and redid this resistance level and support level, giving us zones in this declining channel. Eventually, this will break to the upside. I'm still very bullish long term. However, despite the fact that I did see these 4-hour bullish candles, and then you come over to the oscillators and you saw some really cool things happening with the oscillators as well, including a temporary buy signal here on the money flow being positive, the momentum being positive, the green reversal coming to play. I told you guys, hey, listen, if I'm wrong, I'll be wrong because there are some bullish signs. But when I looked at the other indicators in play here for LuxAlgo, I noticed, I was like, guys, this is sitting at a very strong level of resistance here above 66,000. Why? Because we had a very strong order block and the 4-hour smart trail in play. We also, out on the daily chart, are continuing to reject. In fact, we didn't even actually get up into it. We have a very strong breaker block, a bearish breaker block, this pink line, that is very, very important. Now, on the bullish side, we are continuing to defend the daily smart trail, the blue cloud right here. This is an amazing level of support. If it is lost, we're talking about moving down to a rising level of support, this green line, and a very strong bullish order block closer to $61,000. We're still defending the 64.4 we talked about now for over a week. However, I am seeing, and I'm continuing to let you guys know, I can't ever predict things perfectly, knowing and saying, hey, no matter what, I'm going to be right. I've been right more often than I've been wrong, especially here recently. And my gut is still telling me, if we go back to the charts, my gut is still telling me this move up that we had today, what was happening, this is what we call a dead cat bounce. We've been really negative now for a while. We're really down. People are worrying, man, is Bitcoin ever going to go back to the upside? You see the price start to rally and retail gets really excited only to run into the next level of resistance, have the price come back down. This is a move by a lot of long-term investors that I would call like a retail soul-crushing move. They give you a little bit of hope that the bulls are coming back, but they go ahead and they bring it right back down, even lower than where we were this morning. And the ultimate move here is to continue to weed out all of the retail investors so that longer-term ones, whales and institutions, can get a cheap buy down here at 61,000. One of the reasons I also told you guys this was going to happen, and you guys want to continue to monitor, is look at the volume here, guys. We've seen a lot of big volume on moves when we hit bottom positions or top positions, but this is one where we actually did not see any volume confirming the bullish momentum, and it's one big reason why we were not actually in a state where bulls were very much in control. This is actually more communicating this rally came where the bears just fell asleep at the wheel for a slight minute. And then as soon as we ran into resistance, price comes back to the downside. I am still watching for levels to come back down to 61.6. Want to take a look at some other things we have here with high block, our liquidation levels. You will see a bright yellow spot coming in where? Right here about 62.7. Rarely do we run just into that liquidity. We usually drop just a little bit below it. And of course, there we are down here closer to 61,000. This is a very big reason why I think we can keep dropping a lot of longs, a lot of short-term longs that can be liquidated and have price come back down, making it cheaper for the long-term buy. But before we move on, I want to continue to tell you guys, I've been saying this now for about 2 days, but I want to continue just in case anyone's here for the first time. Thank you so much for joining us and being here. Do not be surprised if not only we're not going to see a bounce until we get closer to 61,000, but the other thing is a timeline. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, do not be surprised for the next 8 days if we don't see any serious bullish momentum. Why is that? Well, on June 28th, 8 days from today, there will be an options expiry for Bitcoin at 55,000. What is that communicating? Well, ultimately, people have tried to judge. They have options in the future of Bitcoin's price. And as long as Bitcoin stays above 55,000, all of their futures options remain intact and they can keep pushing price to the upside. If price closes below 55,000 on the 28th, then billions of dollars of positions will be liquidated, and that could be a major bearish move for Bitcoin. We're not going to drop down to 55,000, but historically, as you get closer to options expiry, if you're massively over that price, like we are right now, in fact, we're about $10,000 over that options expiry, it's very common for the long-term holders to have no incentive to buy, but rather to keep things interesting by allowing price to cool off and come back down closer to that option expiry. Once again, $55,000. I don't think we get that low, but do watch us get closer to 60, and it's going to cause some some retail investors to be very scared and potentially capitulate right at the last moment. Then you hit this level, a long-term level of support in a very bullish formation called an ascending triangle. The whales buy up the dip at 61, and price shoots off up and to the right. We've talked about this before, but this formation in play right now, despite the fact that the short term is bearish, this, if it ends up playing out like the way I think it will, could give the price prediction of $102,000, $103,000, possibly sometime before the end of 2024, maybe even before November, honestly, before we have a big event coming on here in the United States. Some of you guys know what that is. Last thing I'm going to say here on Bitcoin, then we're going to transition, take a look at some other coins. But in case you haven't been here before, let me remind you guys, this formation, this ascending triangle formation, it has a lot of historical relevance. We've seen this happen before right around halving events. All these vertical lines, let me get rid of this one. All these vertical lines are events where we've had halving events where Bitcoin's supply gets cut in half with its production. We have a bullish ascending triangle right here in the most recent bull market. We had one, not counting the COVID dip. We had one back here throughout the months of January 2020 all the way into July of 2020. Of course, we would go on explosive bull market. You go back further all the way back to March of 2016, ascending triangle. We would go on again, very explosive bull market. And even the first halving event all the way back here to 2012, an ascending triangle, and of course, we would break out of it and head to the upside. So if any of you are freaking out, worrying about the recent Bitcoin price dip, zoom out for a second, make sure you get the full perspective and realize, wow, even if we fall down here to 61, this is still part of a much larger, extremely bullish price action. Again, I have Bitcoin in the next year and some change getting up maybe closer to $200,000. If more people come in, honestly, we could go even a little higher. Before we move too much further into altcoins, T-Shroom, some of the best videos on the channel, some of the highest viewed videos on the channel, I've been going through a series of price predictions. I haven't made one recently because no one wants to hear a long-term price prediction when everything's so bearish. Those will be coming out, I promise you soon. I'll be making more of them. But something that gets hotly contested, one of my biggest reasons for being so bullish on crypto and altcoins in general is because I have a perspective. I believe that the crypto total market cap could make it all the way to $11 trillion. Before I keep going further, Tisha, just where's your thoughts with the total crypto market cap? Do you have a higher number, a lower number? What is your expectation? Yeah, for the end of this cycle, yeah.
Well, I've heard talk from a lot of very smart people that we could potentially give gold a run for its money, and gold is up at 15 trillion. And then you've got Microsoft, looks like as of today, is over NVIDIA. But Microsoft and NVIDIA then are at 3 and some change trillion. So, I mean, Bitcoin, I think, gets up to around 10. I think that's kind of the upper limit, maybe 12. In an extreme case, but I've heard people say that it could get up all the way up to 15 and give gold a run for its money. Right now, Bitcoin is really trying to get up and flip silver. It's done it before. We flipped silver before. Yeah. I even think there was a period where we flipped Amazon, but that had more to do with Amazon being devalued. So it's an exciting time for sure. 10 trillion.
Yeah, I was thinking more about this. There's a lot of reasons to go with 11. I mean, that's been a number people have been talking about. But let's go over here to my chart. I'm going to look at total. This is the chart that represents the total crypto market cap for all everything. So this is Bitcoin, Ethereum, every single altcoin. I want you to look at levels that we have been at previously and some explosiveness that has happened in the markets. Now, if you go down to the bear market of 2018. This is down here. Bitcoin made it all the way back down towards $3,000. I mean, a lot of altcoins were really low. We fell in total market cap all the way to 89, roughly $90 billion total, not just Bitcoin, but total in crypto. Of course, in the top at November of 2021, we ended up peaking out at 3 trillion. This would be a move in total of about 3,200% rallies. Guys, that's a 33x in the complete crypto market cap game. Now, I want to remind you, there's something about this market that you need to know in case you were newer. We had an outstanding rally in crypto, but honestly, this was all retail investment plus suppression from institutions. So in reality, this actually could have been a lot higher. We could have rallied, maybe put closer to 4 to 5 trillion. Who knows, maybe even higher. But at the end of the day, what I want you to know about this one, we had a 3,200% rally despite the fact that all we had pumping into the market was retail investment. And every time we started to peak, some new ugly head of a suppression would come from institutions. Now, I want you guys to look at what we currently are doing now. If we went to the bear market back here in November of 2022, we fell to $727 billion. So we fell below $1 trillion. Currently, the total crypto market cap is only up 200%. Let's pretend, though, that we end up getting to 11 trillion. That is really not that impressive of a rally. 11 trillion from the bottom of the bear market would only be a 1,400% rally, nowhere close to what we had back here. Not that I think that we're going to match it perfectly, but I want you guys to understand why this is actually pretty realistic. Because again, this is nothing but retail money plus suppression from institutions. Not only in this market will we get retail flooding back into the space, but instead of the institutions fighting and suppressing crypto, now we're going to get the trillions of dollars coming in from the institutional adoption as well. So when I tell you guys in my videos, I'm going to be conservative by saying 11 trillion is the total top. I want you to know when I say conservative, I mean conservative. I'm going to stick there, but there's actually much more rational arguments to say 15 to 20 trillion could honestly be a good spot. And if that does happen, a lot of my price predictions, as crazy high as some people might think they are, could potentially end up being low. Bitcoin maybe, just maybe, could make it closer to $300,000. Solana maybe pushing up over 2,000. ONDO pushing up over 25. These things can go complete, just absolute parabolic if the total potential ends up coming to its full flash. I think 11 trillion is almost saying we're counting in, hey guys, some things aren't going to go as expected. We're only going to get to $11 trillion. But the good news is, even if we get to 11 trillion and that's all we get to, that's going to be some big money if you choose the right projects. That's what we're all about here at Investing Bros. Speaking of some of those good projects, we're about to flip into AI here in a second, but let's check in on some of your guys' fan favorites here. I got to start off with one that recently has definitely caught the eye of the entire Bros fam. This is ONDO. Now, ONDO, I actually did not get to talk to you guys about this yesterday, but in my VIP trading group, again, it's a very good group. If you guys want to be a part of that, make sure to purchase LuxAlgo. It's the key to getting in there. But if in our VIP trading group, I did tell everybody, hey guys, we are in what is called a descending megaphone pattern. We're still setting lower highs and lower lows, but we're broadening out as we keep going. It keeps getting more volatile. And the touch that I said you guys should watch out for was right here around 129. If we can get above 129, a level of resistance, a level of take profit, then we have a real chance at breaking further to the upside. Sure enough, though, we could not break through it. However, we are finding some short-term support right now on a bullish breaker block here around 121. I do think ONDO, when the bulls come back, could be one of the biggest gainers in the next couple of weeks. So not only do I think ONDO is a good investment for the long term, I think even when we're thinking about the next couple of weeks, maybe next month or two, ONDO could be one of the top choices. And before I go too much further, there's going to be a lot of people watching that go back in comments, go back in chat and say, clearly Tim knows nothing about tokenomics. I do know a thing about tokenomics. I know that ONDO is not going to have the greatest tokenomics in the entire world. If you were to go to ONDO's page, you can go over here, T-Shroom, with me. But the big concern people are talking about is the total supply right now is less than 14% of what we're going to be at total. Here's the thing you need to know about tokenomics. When you go and research a project and you research their plan for how they want to grow, they oftentimes will tell you what their plan is for unlocking. And there will be a major unlocking happening early in 2025. There probably will be a dip in price action. But what I want you to pay attention to is this number right here, the $1.7 billion of market cap. This is a number attached to a project that is so very bullish and long-term is going to raise a lot of money. Do not be surprised to see this number close to 70x. I'm talking over $70 billion $70 billion in market cap, pushing probably closer to $100 billion. And yes, despite the fact that we're going to more than double the supply of ONDO, the fact that that number is going to go exponential, we still have the possibility for ONDO to eclipse over $10 and make a push closer to 20. I have them pegged somewhere between $15 to $18 for my bull market top. A very, very big gain. If you guys were brave enough here recently, let's get rid of LuxAlgo for a second. If you were brave enough to buy this dip when we dipped down to 99 cents, let's redo this for a second. If you bought that dip and we were preparing you for it, you could potentially see your money, your investment on ONDO, anywhere from a 15 to possible 18, 19x on ONDO, despite the fact that the tokenomics are not the best. So I want you to know, when I give you price predictions, I take into account tokenomics probably more than almost anyone else giving you price predictions. The difference is I pay attention to those tokenomics plus the bullish potential of the market cap. That's how you know where things are going to go, and I'm still extremely bullish on this project. Let's talk about another one we're extremely bullish, and I'm going to move on after that. Go ahead.
Yeah, some folks might be wondering, why ONDO? Why is ONDO so great? Well, it's because it's really been riding the wave. Notice how old this headline, March 27th of 2024. ONDO Finance adds $95 million to BlackRock, build, bringing total AUM to $240 million. Has there been a lot of updates since then? There has been some incremental technological updates, but overall, it's been riding the wave of that headline, right? This headline right here. And that's ONDO. That is a huge testament to the power of BlackRock's name recognition and brand power. So,
yeah, actually, T-Shroom, I'm very appreciative you slowed me down there, especially for all of our new listeners. I want you to understand something. What I was just talking about with the crypto market cap as a whole, there's this thing in the 4-year cycle for really everything that you invest in, not 4-year cycles, but things that have phases. Most things, when they first come out, they have a phase of time. In crypto, it's 4 years, but there's a phase of time where everybody just ignores what it is. Like, nobody cares what it was. The first 4 years of Bitcoin, of crypto, most people had no idea it even existed. Then in about 2013, between 2013 to 2017, the second cycle, people start to laugh at it. In this case, we saw it pop up on TV shows and comedies. People joked about storing their money in Bitcoin. Ha, 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 ha. That's so funny. Isn't that computer nerd coin? I think I've heard of it before. That's pretty funny. It'll never amount to anything, but good joke. Then there enters a phase where they fight you. Between 2017 to 2021, despite the fact that we had a bull market, there was a big fight from institutions to suppress the price. It's bad for the economy. It's going to ruin everyone's lives. It's what criminals use to pay for everything. Stay away from crypto. And that keeps the price down. But guess what happens? After you've made it through phase ignoring and laughing and fighting, you move into phase and then they join you. This is the bull market of institutional adoption. What does that mean? Instead of fighting and suppressing, institutions are going to look for valid crypto projects to invest in to make their trillions. And so any token that you find that institutions have shown a lot of love for, get ready to watch them go parabolic, especially if you see the word BlackRock attached to a project. It is going to make them money. They do not invest in bad projects. They invest in winners. ONDO is one of those winners. That's why we're so bullish on them long term. Great slowdown there, T-Shroom. Let's get one more token that's not AI before we move into the AI conversation. Got to go to Kaspa, another fan favorite, another hard to hate coin that's going to just make a lot of people a lot of money. Now, we hit more recently, this is one of the few tokens that we keep an eye on that recently hit a new all-time high, coming up to 19 cents over the last about 2 weeks ago, back on the 5th. It has fallen back down, and I want to take a look at some things that we want to keep an eye on. Let's start on the daily chart here for our Kaspa price action. Now, currently, just like Bitcoin, we are sitting on top of a nice support level here on our smart trail right around 14 cents. We also have a take profit under a sell order with a nice bullish breaker block around 12 cents. I think it's going to be very hard for Kaspa to drop below this, but I want you to understand that even if it did, there is a long-term, very bullish support back at 11 cents as well. I think it's probably realistic for it only to come back down, worst case down to 12 and then make a bounce. But if it goes even lower and you have the opportunity to purchase around 11.8 cents, I would jump on that opportunity. Not financial advice, but Kaspa is a token that is doing fantastic things despite the fact that it's actually kind of hard to get a hold of. If you don't have the right exchange, if you don't have MEXC or if you don't have Uphold, you might not be able to get a hold of it. You cannot get it if you're on Binance. You cannot get it if you are on Coinbase. But when they do list it, and they will list it eventually, this is another token that I do believe could be rallying crazy high. Just to put it into perspective, I think that it's reasonable to expect at least $3 in price action for Kaspa. I'm not going to get into the exact details, but if you were to buy today, you're looking at about a 20x easy on this project. So watch out for them. Even though I don't think the dip is over. I've said this now for a couple of days, and I continue to be proven right. Even though we have these short little rallies, we keep dropping to these prices. I'm telling you, I'm not short-term bullish. I still think that price could come back down on Bitcoin, on Chainlink, on ONDO. However, when I zoom out, I'm looking at charts like this, I am extremely bullish. The bull market has had its first leg, and it was very impressive. But historically, if you guys know anything about how bull markets have worked in the past, here's a good example, like on Bitcoin. The first leg, yeah, it looks really good, and it's really fun. We have some nice rallies, maybe around 300%. But the second leg, when Bitcoin gets going, the second leg is where the most fun happens. Last bull market, despite suppression, we had almost a 10x in Bitcoin on the second leg. Is that going to happen for Bitcoin again? No, it's not. I think really we're probably looking at about a 3x or so. But I'm looking at ONDO, and I'm looking at Kaspa, and I'm looking at Stacks and others, and I see, man, I wish I could go back to the bottom and buy again. Historically, these coins have had amazing first legs to the bull run. The second one, which will start later on in Q4 of this year, is the bigger, more explosive, more wealth-gaining bull market. You guys are coming in at the perfect time to learn, to invest, to stack your sats. And again, 12 to 14 months from today, you will thank us for telling you, hey, get ready. Go ahead and start buying now because the opportunity of a lifetime, it's right around the corner. Let's take a quick break here for a second. I'm going to get some water, but I want to give a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's video. Also, let you guys know more about it. So, BloFin is the sponsor of today's video. This is our trading partner here at Investing Bros. If you want to trade in and out easily, cheaply, and not have to KYC, that means know your customer. It's a very annoying process if you're new to it. If you don't want to have to use a VPN to trade, BloFin is the one for you. Go sign up today. And the really cool thing about BloFin, not only is it the best trading platform out there and it's what we use, it also has an opportunity when you sign up with our link and show us your UID, you get entered into our Discord. And when you post your trades, you enter to win a weekly $50 trading bonus. Just so you know, the competition, we just started this week. Only one person has been putting their trades in. So if that stands tomorrow morning, that winner will win the $50. If you guys want to join him and be entered to win weekly giveaways, go sign up for BloFin today, start trading, get your trading process going with BloFin, and again, possibly earn $50 every single week. With that said, T-shirt, we're going to jump into AI, but I got to get a drink really fast. Say something funny to the people that'll make them chuckle.
Well, I'm still staying strong here, Tim, with my grip strength exerciser. Again, if you manufacture these, let us know. We'd love to be affiliates because we are all about helping the bros keep their hands strong and avoiding weak hands for sure. The other thing I would say, Tim, just as you're continuing to digest that hydration fluid, is when Tim says this is a good time to come into the market and stack sats, I agree with Tim, but I want to highlight it's the sats that is to be stacked, especially if you're new. If you're in crypto, whatever that means, if you've been getting into crypto, watching YouTube, buying crypto, whatever that means to you, for less than 3 months, it's very, very concerning if you've gotten into buying something other than Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? You see Tim shaking his head. That doesn't mean that altcoins aren't good, right, or aren't worth investing in. They are. Tim and I are both heavily invested in altcoins, but that is because we are not new, and I'll leave it there. If you're new, be very careful.
Listen, we're going to talk more at the end of the show. If you guys have deeper questions about how to build long-term successful portfolios, we've recently launched complete membership options over in our Discord that we can help walk you through every step. Whether you want to trade heavy, whether you want to invest heavy, whether you have questions about how to build your portfolio, we'll be able to answer all those questions. We'll tell you more about that at the end of the stream. For now, let's get into the big topic. Maybe several of you guys are probably coming in here to listen to. Let's talk about AI. I saw a comment earlier. Can we look at Near? Can we look at Render? That's exactly what we're going to do here in just a second. But before we do that, why is AI rallying so high today? I have my theories, but T-Shroom, I think we have an article that gives us a potential thought as to why AI is.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
Right, absolutely. This is our Why Are You Running segment of the show. OpenAI competitor Anthropic announces its most powerful AI yet. That's right. It's just because it's happening over on the web too, on the TradFi markets. This is a big name in AI. This is one of the ones that Chamath Chapatia, this is now the second day in a row that I've said that name, is invested in. The news follows Anthropic's debut of Claude 3 family of models in March and OpenAI's ChatGPT 4.0 in May. The company said Claude 3.5 Sonnet is faster than its previous leading model, blah, 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 blah. If you care about Anthropic, you can go read more. But that, to me, is why we're seeing a pop in AI tokens. In addition to just generally, altcoins are having a little bit of a bounce. The ones that are most profoundly seem to be AI because it's corresponding with this positiveness from Anthropic. In addition to that, one thing to keep in mind if you are trying to trade and invest in the AI crypto space, Artificial Superintelligence Alliance announces revised timeline for token merger. This is the ASI token, right? The coming together of Oceans, Fetch.ai, and AGIX. That is now going to be scheduled for July 15th, 2024. So whether you think it's going to be a buy the news, a sell the news, a hold the news, whatever it is, that's going to be happening on July 15th. I hold only AGIX of those. I actually think Fetch.ai is probably marginally better, right? But it kind of doesn't matter because they're all going to be merging together. So I hold AGIX, and I plan on continuing to hold throughout the duration of the bull market. I also have Tau. Tau is kind of positioned as the other really big AI token that is going to be giving ASI a run for its money.
Yeah, I will say, I think on top of the things that you're talking about here, T-Shroom, some other things to keep in mind. Remember, we're days away from, we passed tense. We're days past NVIDIA officially becoming the highest company in the world in terms of market cap. It passed Microsoft. Did it fall back down? Okay, so it's back down below, but of course, there was a lot of excitement when that happened. Yeah. Some other things I'm looking at here on the charts, reasons why AI possibly jumped. One of it was because it was still falling. I mean, other things for the last couple of days had been rallying. You guys can see here, I'm going to start off with Near, but you're going to see on several different AI tokens, they were falling to key support levels that we actually had been calling for a while. This is Near. We didn't quite touch the yellow line, but I did tell you guys, don't be surprised if we get back down close to the $4.29 little wick we had way back in April. Sure enough, again, didn't hit it perfectly, but lines should always be more of zones. We've hit into that nice zone of former support. Could we drop a little bit lower? Well, the daily chart kind of suggests possibly we could. Now, we are seeing some bullishness on the daily chart right now where we have reversals. We had a bullish flash and positive money flow. That's actually a very good thing. Historically, that's actually a very good buy signal. Man, I literally started this sentence by saying we should be able to drop lower. And I'm interested to see what the 4-hour chart says, but I got to get back to this, guys, because that's a very, very bullish sign right there. We are hitting resistance on the 4-hour chart. So be aware of the 4-hour chart hitting that resistance coming down. And if I'm going to guess here, I think, yeah, we're overextended here. We had a great buy signal on the 4-hour chart. Don't be surprised to see the price come back down, maybe even matching or going even a little lower. But when I come back to the daily chart here, there is a take profit lower. We do not have to hit all the way down that level, but we are seeing a buy signal come in here on the daily chart. Now, how am I going to operate with this? Because this is actually my number one buy signal that I use when I have a green reversal, a green momentum on the oscillator, and positive money flow. That is one of my number ones. It actually is my number one buy signal I use. I still like to use confluence of other timelines, of other indicators. And when I see the resistance on the 4-hour chart and see the potential to fall back down, that makes me think, and I'm going to say keyword think here, there is an outside chance that the price of NEAR will still come back down to the downside, all the while the money flow will keep going to the upside. But after we hit the levels we're supposed to that are very, very close, I think we could see actually a pretty significant bullish move here on NEAR protocol. A lot of that due to this indicator right here, our LuxAlgo oscillator, where we have not seen a buy signal like that in a very long time with that money flow going positive. Last time we saw it, in fact, way back here in January of 2024. I already know what January of 2024 looks like, but let's go take a look at what it does. January of 2024, for anyone who's wondering, was the bottom of a pullback that would go on to see NEAR rally upwards of 255% in the next 2 months. Am I saying we're going to see an exact repeat? Maybe not an exact repeat, but I think pretty darn close. And despite the fact that I think that we could see price drop a little bit lower here, I'm not going to be surprised if we see this flash once again, a very bullish buying signal for NEAR. I bet you for a lot of the AI tokens. Don't be surprised to see that happening. And if we were to see 255% again from this level, let's just pretend that we do come down and touch this yellow line. 255%, if we repeat, would send us over closer to $16 on NEAR. A new high for this bull market, not quite a new high for the total price, but that will come probably a little bit behind. I do think NEAR is one that will set a brand new all-time high this bull market. That's the first one I'm looking at right there. Keep an eye on maybe, again, a small correction because the 4-hour chart, which means the next 4 days could still be bearish. Maybe we see a small correction, but that daily chart, when we're talking about the next couple of weeks, that is definitely flashing major bullish signs. I'm very interested in what that looks like going forward. We hit my price prediction on render, though. Remember, I told you guys after we failed to come back up, if we failed to break out of a bullish flag potential, I said, hey, guys, watch out for us to fall back down here to an order block and the take profit of our recent sell order here from LuxAlgo. Sure enough, we went down, did just that. So we've kind of suppressed, we kind of sufficed a bearish move here on the daily chart. Similar to what we're seeing on the others, the oscillators are definitely looking like they're ready to go to the upside. We don't quite have a buy signal just yet. We do have the reversals. We do have kind of choppiness right here that looks like it wants to go bullish, but I want to see positive money flow. That's still going to the downside. When I see positive money flow, render is right behind NEAR in terms of a buying signal. The 4-hour chart, on the other hand, it does look like we've already corrected here a little bit off of an order block. Let me get rid of this for a second. Man, we moved down pretty good. I think there's a decent chance we see it correct as well. Let's watch for potentially just a repeat coming back down into the green cloud, possibly back down here to 685. But honestly, this is one I don't feel as strongly about a necessity for render to correct as much as NEAR. We've already had a decent correction. We're sitting on top of strong support. The only argument is that it looks like the oscillators might want to come back down. But you can see here, money flow is still positive. We did get a green reversal. We do have bearish momentum. But as long as that money flow stays positive, I'm not necessarily going to guarantee and predict that we have to make a move back down to the downside. That's what we're looking at here on render. Let's take a look really quickly at possibly, well, it's down now, but one of the bigger gainers in the AI space, and a coin that's about to be merging, as T-Shroom just talked about, into ASI. This right here is FET. And if you count what it actually did bouncing here a couple of days ago, if we come out here to the daily chart, we've had a nice rally here from the bottom of about 59% here on FET. That's major gains for just 2 days of price action. On the daily chart, we just printed a buy signal, and it does not look like we're coming into resistance like we saw with the other channels. But we'll go back and look at the 4 hour here in a second. But my target in the short term, with this buy signal flashing on LuxAlgo, I'm looking at this bearish breaker block mixed with this red cloud, a smart trail, coming in around $2.05. Looks like an interesting spot for the bulls to run up to before they tire. If I take a look at the oscillators, you will see the oscillators as a whole are screaming buy. We're about to get a bullish MACD cross. When I look at LuxAlgo, we had a great buy signal here. This is the perfect example here the other day, guys, where we had our green reversals, the green momentum, the positive money flow. You could have entered this just about perfectly. So daily chart screaming just like near. We should be going to the upside. Let's check out the 4 hour chart. Okay, here we go. We did reject. Here we go. We did reject on a strong order block. However, in the process of this rally, we created a bullish breaker block, 149. Watch for a potential retracement back down here to 149, and then potentially another greater move to the upside, possibly making it, again, at least to 190. Top end, guess what? 205 comes back into the equation. I don't know. Again, I can't tell you perfectly, but it would make a lot of sense for a pullback around 148. I don't think we have to pull back all this way. I think that Fetch looks like it wants to go ahead and pop to the upside. Both 4 hour and the daily chart showing us potential long still in play around 200. Let's just pretend. Let's say you get that 149. You know what? I'm going to give you guys stuff that I give to our VIP trading group. Let's pretend and set up a hypothetical trading possibility. We're going to buy in around 150. I don't want to go quite all the way down to 149. I want to go to 150. Psychological barrier there, but I want to enter a long all the way up here to, let's go a little lower than what I think. Let's go to $2 perfectly. We're looking right there. Even if I'm spot trading this at a 33% rally, I could set myself up here a nice little, let's go 10% stop loss. Not that big of a deal, down to 135. This is a potential very bullish trade setup. And if you want to get a little riskier, if you're willing to be patient, you could say, you know what, Tim, I see that breaker block right there, but I want to go a little bit further. Let's come down to the smart trail and potentially look for an entry on a bigger fall somewhere around 128. Now we're talking about a rally here of potentially 55%. Go ahead and throw my stop loss on here somewhere around 20. Let's go about 18% right there, around on 106. This is a potential long opportunity you could have on Fetch. Like T-Shroom said, we have now an update. It'll still be a coin itself for about 3.5 more weeks. On July 15th, though, this will be merging. This will be one of the 3 coins merging into ASI, a coin that we have pegged as a very intriguing opportunity for future investments. But for now, I still think there's money to make on FET alone. That's going to wrap up our AI, but we are about to move into some Q&A. We don't have a third segment for the day. I told you guys the show might be a little bit shorter. I do want you guys to know, though, we will be having, after the show here about 4:45, I'll be heading home. All of our VIP traders, if you are a part of that group, we'll be going live in our Zoom call, our weekly Zoom call. And today, I see someone saying, Crypto Poyo said, Tim, please pull a fib on that. I need to use Fib more often. It's funny you say that because today we will be covering how to use Fibonacci tools. If you're a VIP member, you do not want to miss it. For the rest of you, though, hey, sign up for Lux or one of our membership options. We'll talk about that here in a couple minutes, and you can join those VIP calls. T-Shroom, I got to get some water. I don't know why. I don't think I drank as much today as I really should have. I'm feeling extremely thirsty during the show.
Oh, man. Tim, you got to step up. You've got to step up your hydration. I saw a couple of chats here. They weren't necessarily questions, but they kick off a couple of good talking points in my mind. Just Jim said, I wish I would have learned about market cycles before investing. It would have been easier. Very good. Very good observation.
Yeah. And guess what? That's one of the topics we will discuss in our VIP group as well. But here's what I'll say. anyone who's like, I don't understand cycles, I can tell you right now, you're not as good of a spot as you would have been if you had gotten in maybe 7-8 months ago, or even further, actually, really over a year ago would have been the best time to get involved. But I can tell you that today and the next couple of weeks, and I think I said earlier in the show, about the next week or so, I think this is some of the most perfect times. I struggle to think that we won't start to see bullish momentum in about another week. I think that's going to be the best buying you get for the rest of Bitcoin's existence. You're here at the perfect time. You'll learn along the way, though. I did see someone say, I think Crypto Polio as well, said, I'm interested in that breaker block confluence. Yeah, if you go to my chart here, T-Shroom, this breaker block, let's go back onto the daily chart and take a look at it. Was it on the daily chart as well? Yeah. These breaker blocks are superpower indicators that are on LuxAlgo. If you guys want to go down the link below and purchase LuxAlgo, not only is it the greatest indicator in the world? I mean, take a look at these amazing order blocks, breaker blocks. You have take profit and stop loss suggestions. You have buy and sell orders. This oscillator here, the superpower that it is to help you know when to enter and leave trades, comes with this as well. And the best part about it is not only do you get the best trading indicator in the world, it's also one of the keys to get into that VIP trading group I keep talking about. We got a lot of people learning some amazing things. And again, stay tuned. We're going to talk more about some big things we're doing in our Discord to continue to educate you guys on trading, on investing, and help you change your financial wealth forever. But check out LuxAlgo, definitely down below in the link.
Love it. Love it, Tim. Another one that I thought was really cool was I recommend my friends only Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana and explain them the risks. So
yeah. So I will say this. I want people to know, and I've said this before, there's a lot of altcoins out there. Altcoins will make you more money than Bitcoin. And even though Ethereum is an altcoin, Ethereum's getting to a level of maturity where there's only so many gains it can make, right? So for right now, if things play out the way I think, Bitcoin probably still has about a 3x, maybe a little bit more left in it, right? Ethereum probably has somewhere around a little over a 5, maybe let's call it a 6, maybe 7x left in it. I think Solana is going to be pushing closer to 8 or 9x, so meaning you're going to 8 times your money. These are all great investments. And in fact, if you come from the stock market world, or even if you don't have investing whatsoever, if you say right now, oh, I have $10,000, you're telling me if I invest in Solana right now, that $10,000 is going to be worth upwards of $90,000 in 1 year. Take my money. I want that happening to myself right now. But there are some altcoins. I want you guys to know there are altcoins in this space, though, that still have 20 to 40x left in there. However, they're not as safe. They're not as sure of a thing. There's a lot of things between now and the end of the bull market that could go wrong with them. So when we push people towards Bitcoin and Ethereum and Solana, the reason we're pushing them towards those older, less potential coins is because even though there's less potential in the gains category, there's way less of a risk factor as well. These are coins that institutions are going to want to invest in. They're going to pump. They're going to make you money. I don't like to guarantee anything ever because nothing is 100% predictable, but those are very much closer to a sure thing than altcoins. And I tell people, especially if you have high portfolios, if you have a lot of money, you definitely want to be putting more of it into the less risky coins. However, the lesser portfolio you have, I think there is a grand opportunity still in the altcoin space. Those are the ones you maybe want to look for a little more risky. I'm not talking about going after meme coins. I'm not talking about going after coin number 3,472 that has a $1 million market cap, but maybe it gets to $1 billion. I'm talking about the coins that are somewhat of safe bets. They have great investing. They have a great history. They have a great team and a great community and still have 20 to 40x left in them based on their potential. Those are the ones that I do push people to say, hey, let's get a portion of your portfolio that's very safe in the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solanas, but let's also get a little more risky. Let's get a little more aggressive. But to help you guys do that, again, I don't know who you are. I can't make one judgment and say, hey, this is the right portfolio for everybody. I can, though, if you guys get into our memberships on one-on-one basis, do some reviews and help you understand what's best for you and your family. It's going to be different to every single person. However, that is something we are looking to accomplish here in the next couple of weeks, months, years, millennia.
Absolutely, Tim. And just to add on to that, something that, something to know about, like, I might ask the question, when are the most noobs in the market, right? The most noobs are in the market at the very highs, when a lot of people have made disproportionate gains relative to the S&P, relative to Ford stocks, relative to Microsoft, and certainly gold, right? Right around in here, right around in here. And you might think, oh, well, should I sell now? We're at highs? No, because we're not at these highs. This is not where we are in the market. We're back down here, and Tim illustrates this well, regularly. I'm just pointing this out because if you're thinking you're gonna make it super rich in altcoins, it's possible, right? It's statistically possible that somebody's going to be very rich from altcoins. However, the fewer months and the fewer years that you've spent in crypto understanding the risks, understanding and seeing project after project and reading white paper after white paper and seeing what the full landscape is, then you have more of an edge in trying to bet on and invest on these smaller projects. Bitcoin, Ethereum, they're just different, especially Bitcoin. It's not a bet so much as it's a historical pattern. Now, Bitcoin could potentially, peter out and not get to those $200,000 highs that we're predicting, but it's unlikely. Historically, it will, right? So that's kind of a way to think about this. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Crypto is not. Do people get rich quick? They do, but it's the minority of people who do, and those who do get rich quick very seldom are able to hold on to that wealth.
Yeah. I think it's good, even maybe for people who are newer to the space. Let's do that. What you kind of referenced there. I want you guys to understand, because someone even asked earlier, man, I wish I'd learned more about cycles. Let's talk about cycles real quick. What I need you to know, don't pay much attention to all these horizontal lines. They're there for particular reasons. Pay attention to these vertical lines. This most recent one, yellow, but the other three are green. These are halving events. These mark massive bullish momentums for Bitcoin's price action and crypto price action as a whole. But I want you guys to see something that happens over time. Now, we hit these highs. Again, this is a high back in 2011, very young Bitcoin days. It has a bear market, pulls back down over 90%. But we rally into the halving event. But take a look. I'm looking at the weekly chart. I can get rid of this too. That's kind of just distracting. We hit the halving event. And you would think, man, we just immediately explode. No, it took a couple months. We traded sideways and boring for a couple months. But roughly about 50, I think this is 55 weeks later, 53, 54 weeks later, a little over a year, we go astronomically way higher than the previous all-time high. You make massive gains. That was the first halving. Then we kind of roll over here into July of 2016. Guess what? Same thing. We rallied into it, had a couple months of boring sideways action, but take a look at this one. This one took a little bit longer, but about 70 some odd weeks later, we would go on to massively outdo the previous all-time high and have a brand new one more explosively. And again, look at the difference in price action between when we were on the halving event to where the price ended up being. Even the bull market of suppression, again, I call this the institutional depression. This was the halving event. We rallied before it. We had a big pullback with COVID, but take a look at what happens. Despite the fact that institutions tried to convince everyone to ditch their Bitcoin and were probably heavily shorting it, Bitcoin price once again dramatically outpaced previous bull market tops all-time high. So when we're asking where in the cycle are we right now, we're not sitting at the tops. We're sitting right around where these green lines are compared to what the next year and some change is going to look like. What does that mean? Right here, guys. Yes, we did something different by hitting an all-time high before the halving. But as a whole, the timeline is the same. We have not yet entered the second leg of the bull market. That bull market should send us way higher. And once again, I said it earlier in the show, but I get closer every single day to saying, hey, guys, you know when I call for $200,000? I think this is realistic, borderline conservative. I'm not ready to call for it. And I don't want you guys thinking like this, waiting for it, because there's a good chance it does not happen. But every single day, and the more and more bullishness you read about with adoption in this world, the greater the need for decentralized finance and real trustless wealth to be built, the more I'm sitting here thinking, man, could we possibly not just make it to 200? Are we going to be pushing closer to 300? Are we going to make an opportunity, possibly maybe even push even higher? By the year 2030, here in another 5.5 years, are we going to be pressing over 1 million? Not only because Bitcoin supply is just not growing whatsoever, but because this dollar that most of us operate with, even if you're not in the US, everyone has to be aware of the value of the dollar. This thing as a whole peaked here just a little bit ago in October of 2022. But guess what's happened since then? Institutions have found Bitcoin. They call it digital gold. People are ditching their assets. I think the long-term trajectory of this chart, at least if this was dollar compared to Bitcoin, is going to look very much like this. Everything in crypto up and to the right. US dollars, Chinese yuans, British pounds, fiat currency down into the right. Unlike crypto, it's going to take some time. There's going to be some volatility, meaning price goes up, price goes down. But the long-term future, the long-term planning of your investments has Bitcoin making astronomical new highs and dollars for the first time in history no longer setting highs, but rather moving to the downside.
Excellent. I love it. There was one more comment that I had. I'm here for the first time. Was in my recommends. So YouTube
Welcome,
is pushing us out.
Glad to have you. Yeah. Hey, listen, that's a good reminder, everybody. Go ahead and smash that like button if you have not. We got over 500 people in here, and I haven't refreshed my page, so it said 7 likes, but I highly doubt that's the case. 200 likes.
200 likes.
That's actually good. Listen, 200 what? It's just 201 now. All right, 250. Guys, I like the rule of like pretty much 50% of the concurrent. Let's get to 250 in the next couple of minutes. Let's get one more question, and then we're going to close out and announce again. We made it yesterday, but I want to remind you guys about what is happening in our Discord. Some big, big things. But last question of the day, T-Shroom, I'll let you choose it.
Well, we've got the factoid of the day as well. So let's just jump onto that. And while I'm going, maybe you can look at the chat as well. Let's see here. There's a really good factoid of the day coming in strong. And it's
gotcha.
It's brought to you. It's brought to you all by. Say again.
The elf wasn't getting it to you on time. Listen, man, production. Get that elf working. Get the elf going.
I was messaging my roofing guy back. This is brought to you by Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy acquiring 11.9 thousand more Bitcoin for $786 million. Thank you, MicroStrategies, for pumping our bags. Tim, I'm really glad about this one. This banking pact raised the minimum capital requirements for banks to hold sovereign debt from 2% to 4.5% of common equity as a percentage of the bank's risk-weighted assets. Which banking pact was it? Basel III, the Geneva Convention, the Sarbanes-Oxley Act, or Dodd-Frank?
What are these questions? I mean, I feel like I used to understand the trend here. I have no idea. It's not the Geneva Convention, so I'm going to eliminate that one. I don't know what the other three really are, but I feel like I've heard Dodd-Frank before. I don't know if it relies on this, but because I just never heard of the other two, and maybe that's something crazy, I'm going to go with D. Dodd-Frank as my final answer.
All right, here we go. Basel III.
I have no idea what that is. Never heard of it.
It's very important, Tim. Basel III is a very, very important international accord. Basel III Accord raised the minimum capital requirements for banks from 2 to 4.5%, and there's also a buffer capital requirement, bringing that to 7%. Why is this important, T-Shroom? Well, first of all, I'm assuming the reason why that the Factoid Elf thinks this is important is because what happens here is the strongest governments in the world require private banks to hold their fiat and their sovereign debt bonds on their balance sheet. That's a requirement as of Basel III. So that's the world we live in. We're off the gold standard. We're on the central bank standard. And the buck stops at central banks, which require private banks in the countries that are in the Basel III Accord to hold fiat and bonds. Now, if you go and talk to anybody on Wall Street, anybody in finance who actually knows what Basel III is, they don't bat an eye at that because that's been the standard. But if you look at it from a crypto perspective, it's tilting the scales towards the fiat system. You know, it makes sense in a fiat world, but fiat has proven itself to suck. We talked at length yesterday about the almost $35 trillion of debt that the United States is in sovereign debt. You know, there's no way that nobody thinks that we're going to be able to pay that off. So anyway, that was the sentiment from the Factoid Elf about that fact.
Okay, all right. Well, good. You learned it here first, guys. Also, I think someone corrected Dodd-Frank doesn't exist either. It's Dodd-Frank. So tell the elf about that.
Oh, the elf knew. You were just extra tricked on that.
Listen, I heard the phrase. I don't think I've ever seen Dodd-Frank spelled out. So I was like, did I hear it wrong? Was it Dot? But it's good to know. All right, here we go. We're going to move into closing out the show for the day. Again, VIP trading group. We're going to be going live in about 45 minutes, but we've been hinting at it all show. I showed you guys this yesterday, but we have an even prettier graphic for you guys. If you guys go over right now, the first link in the description is going to take you to our free Discord. But once you're in there, if you want to go deeper, if you want to learn more about investing, if you want to learn more about trading, if you want to potentially have your portfolio reviewed, or even better yet, you get to watch T. Shroom and I build our portfolio, this is the perfect membership for you. We also are going to be having weekly giveaways in pretty much every single one of these memberships. We're going to be giving you newsletters. We're going to be also dropping deep research on a lot of your guys' favorite or maybe interesting altcoins you want to be a part of. Check out these options down below. The prices you see is if you subscribe for a whole year. So, for example, basics right here, $15.99 if you sign up for 12 months. But if you sign up for monthly, it's going to be a little bit higher here at $19.99. I encourage you guys to go check these out and find out which one's right for you. We're super excited about been thinking and structuring and building this for a long time. We have a very big heart to help educate all of you guys on how to invest properly. And so find the right one for you. Another big thing here, you guys will notice if you hit that join button on YouTube, there's different membership options. The $5 membership, we're going to continue to push people there. That'll give you guys access to one stream a week just to hang out with the bros every single Wednesday. But other than that, there's not a lot that comes with it. As far as the other options you see, you're more than happy to sign up for them. However, that gold membership is the same equivalency as the basics. You actually could save money by just going and buying the basics. The Mega Bro is the same as the Pro Bros. Once again, if you go into Discord and sign up, you could save yourself some money. So while we're going to leave those up there and you still can access it through them, I highly recommend, even those of you who have those higher memberships, consider moving your membership from YouTube over into Discord. It'll save you money. It'll give you the quick access. We cannot wait to see you guys over there today. Go sign up down below. On the way out, though, first, smash the like button, hit subscribe. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor of the TA. Shouted out loud on the PA. T-Shroom's news got the word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that better to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.